Hey guys, so we are going to take a look today about how life in the post World War II era really developed, and we're going to focus mainly on society today. So, last class, we really focused on the Cold War, the beginning of the Cold War, and seeing our foreign policy become pretty aggressive and pretty interventionist after World War II, as now we are seeing a conflict rising between the US and the USSR. And then today we're going to talk about how people in the 40s and 50s really lived and some of the effects of the Cold War on our daily life. So we're also going to watch quite a few videos and clips today. So as we're going through the notes, I'll also have the videos play as well. So after World War II, we ended up having a continuation of domestic policy that we definitely saw in the 30s and 40s. So remember in the 30s and 40s, we had President Franklin Roosevelt who ran 4 terms, and his domestic policy was the New Deal, where it was trying to create a domestic program to help us get out of the Great Depression. Well, after World War II, when the Great Depression is definitely over because of all of our production and our spending for the war, his vice president who took over after he passed away, President Truman, created a domestic program called the Fair Deal. Now, the Fair Deal was also more on the liberal side. It wanted to increase the minimum wage. It wanted to increase spending on education, and also was really the first time we had a promotion to create a national health care program. So most of the Fair Deal goals under Truman did not get passed, though, through Congress. So we're definitely seeing a pushback to FDR and that very liberal agenda under the Great Depression. However, after World War II, we already covered this in our projects from World War II, but I wanted to show you a video and also kind of reinforce how the returning soldiers from World War II are going to definitely get benefits and also going to see a lot of that play out in our society in here just a couple minutes. So, with the GI Bill of Rights, remember that was the program to basically allow veterans to get benefits when they came back from war. So, things like tuition to go to school, things like lower mortgages on homes. And so, this is very different from what we saw after World War I. And we're going to watch a video to kind of sum up the effects. And this video was created in the 40s and 50s. So some of the things that are said in this video definitely not be appropriate today because of the stereotypical gender roles. But I feel like this video kind of captures how the veterans benefited after World War II. So let's go ahead and watch the video. So we definitely see with the GI Bill of Rights, many veterans are going to take benefit of this and get a lot of economic help. And while it seems like the tuition and the living expenses of $50 a month doesn't seem like much today, that definitely was quite a bit of money in the 1940s when they returned from war. So we also are going to see a major shift with demographics in the 1940s and 50s, with just how people were definitely traveling and transportation with President Eisenhower's Interstate Highway Act. Now, the Interstate Highway Act is quite a connected system. It's basically all of our highways. So, like I-35, the I stands for interstate. Our interstates, we definitely saw that our cities were not very connected, and we definitely did not have easy transportation to get from city to city. So Eisenhower, who remember was a general during D-Day, he definitely has that military framework, and he wants to make sure that if we have to ever evacuate or we have to basically help mobilize our troops, we could get around by connecting our cities with interstates. So with the interstates, it was definitely for military purposes, but it actually ended up causing an insane effect on our economy because now it's going to help with more trade, and we're going to see more economic prosperity in the 50s because of the Interstate Highway Act. So while the Interstate Highway Act started for a military purpose from the Cold War, it really ended up having a tremendous increase on our trade, which we'll talk about in here in just a second. It's also going to have a tremendous effect on our society too, because now that people can travel and people can actually move around, we're going to see a lot of people moving out of the cities because now transportation is going to be so much better that people can actually move into suburbs outside of the city. So I'm going to click over to the next link because the time is about to run out on here. So go ahead and hit the next link to talk about suburbia.